Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Mount Tammany Ridge. I'm up here in the driveway up in front of the garage today, and it is Saturday morning, and it's the day before Christmas Eve, and I figured I'd come out here and do a little bit of maintenance, just tightening up a couple fittings here on some hydraulic hoses for my snowplow. And while I was doing it, I think it was like a year or so ago, I had posted a video on my snowplow setup and how it all came about. So didn't get a whole lot of views back then. I don't know exactly why. Maybe just the way I worded the title or whatever, it didn't just didn't get out there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another video and see how that goes. I just figured maybe some of you woodhounds that are also rural property owners that do your own snow management with equipment similar to this might be interested in what I have going on. All right, so my skid loader is a New Holland C232, and it's I believe it's a 2016. Weighs in at about 9,500 pounds. I don't know if that's the shipping weight or if that's the wet weight, but that's at least what the Ritchie Bros website says that this machine weighs in at, so I'll go with it. It's a 74 horse, I believe, non DEF, thankfully, but I'm just a bit lower than the threshold required for that, so which was kind of intentional as far as the reason why I purchased this machine. Just one less thing to worry about. Now, as far as the plow, this is a 7-foot 6-inch truck snow plow, and the brand is Snowway. Now, I don't really have a super good experience with the Snowway brand. Really not happy with their customer service. It was pretty poor. However, I will say the bones of their design is pretty good. The substructure, the A-frame, I guess you could call it, where your light tower is, and the mold bore. It's good. It's not, the most robust. It's not a Fisher. It's not a Western. Okay. But for what we use it for, it's only a 26-inch mold bore, so it's not a real super big plow for big jobs anyway. It's more of a moderate residential type of deal. So the problem that I had back when I had it on a pickup truck was the electronic system. It was designed to be a wireless controller type of setup. So you hook up power, ground, your headlights, and then as far as your control to the plow, it was Bluetooth. It was all wireless, which on the face of it all was pretty awesome, because if you had a couple different trucks that were roughly the same size, you could very easily switch from one truck to another if you had them both outfitted with the same plow subframe and everything like that. So it could be pretty cool. Now, before I start having a bunch of issues with the electronics, I kind of explored that possibility when I had my Mahindra tractor. So when I built this, I actually built it to accommodate the Mahindra tractor and my wife's Silverado 1500. So I had the plow frame on that, and then I also bought another Snowway plow frame, and I cut the tabs off of it for truck frame mount, and I burned it onto the skid steer quick attach plate. And I had it, I had used it on the tractor, and it was amazing. It was just the coolest thing ever, to be able to utilize the same plow both on your pickup truck or the tractor. So unfortunately, it wasn't very long after I had started using it with the tractor where the circuitry in the chipboard and the brain, I guess you could call it, of the plow began to fail, and so did the service quality, because they basically, the plow was literally 1 year old, and they basically told me to stick it. So, and like I said, I had called, as if, to be a happy customer and just concerned about the problem and see if there was a way we could fix it. I didn't even come at them sideways on the subject when I approached them on it. And again, they pretty much told me to stick it where the sun don't shine. And tough boogies, you're just going to have to buy a whole new brain with a controller and all that stuff. And they wanted, $650, maybe even more than that. I think it was like $680 or something like that. So I was like, no, definitely not going to be doing that. So what I did was when I got rid of the tractor, basically this thing just sat doing nothing after that point. I mean, I couldn't angle the plow, I couldn't lift it, couldn't drop it, other than the loader on the tractor. So it was practically a lawn ornament. Then when I got the skid steer, and I had some wet lines, these are standard pressure. These are not high flow, so it's standard flow hydraulics. And I decided, well, now I can put this plow back in service and just put some hydraulic lines and fittings on it, completely get rid of the whole other pump system with all the valves and circuits. And I put this pressure release valve on. Just kind of, like I said, this thing is just it's kind of a Franken build. I started out good, everything was going great. I was making everything nice and neat, had all kinds of plans, and then the snow hit the ground, and basically it just kind of stayed the way it was. So everything works fine, but it's not anywhere near where I would have liked it to have been as a finished project. But I got my fittings there, and then I've also got the valve pressure adjustments there on each line, and they're Bayer brand. I like them, but I'm not sure they're as good as I'd like them to be. The flow on this machine pushes hard enough through that, where if you're not gentle with the controls in the machine, this thing will still overcome the pressure valves and the pressure relief valve. So not really sure what more I can do with that. Maybe Dana from S'more Firewood might be able to help me out with that situation. I apologize for all the extra noise. I got Bo down at the barn barking because we have some hunters with their dogs out in the woods. I'm assuming they're probably hunting for small game or birds of some sort, and you can hear the hounds. They're usually here once or twice a year. That's the state land property over there, so we're pretty used to it. So what I did here is, instead of using a chain to lift and lower, or I should say to prevent the plow from dropping all the way down when I pick it up, there's a cylinder in here. It's a pretty beefy, fat, short cylinder, and that's what was used to lift and lower the blade. with the original pump system. And what I decided to do was, instead of eliminating that, I figured what I was going to do, I was going to bring this hose up and over. It was just an extra hose from the setup, and I basically made like an air cushion. It's a combination of air and hydraulic fluid that is kind of compressed in here and throughout the cylinder. And what that does is it allows a certain amount of float, but once that air and hydraulic fluid begins to get to be under pressure, it stops the flow of air and or liquid. And when it compresses and it stops it, then the plow actually does lift up off the ground, and it still allows the plow to float. And because I have the loader, obviously, when I backward tilt and I lift up the plow, you know, if I only get 6 or 8 inches of lift off the ground from the cutting edge, then I can do the rest with the loader. So it really works out awesome. There has not been a rise or a dip, at least on our property, in any of the other places that I've gone to push snow for other people, that I have not been, that the plow has lost contact with the ground. So at this point, my idea seems to be working quite well. But so aside from there being a bunch of weeds on it, from the weed whacker just slinging things everywhere, I need to tighten up a few of these fittings. I noticed some point during the summer, one of my rubber mats that I had this sitting on looked like there was at least one leaky fitting on it. So I'm gonna make sure I track it down. I'm gonna plug this thing into the machine, cycle it a few times, get the air out of the system. I'm sure that's in there now, and we're gonna show you how this thing works, and hopefully I can get you guys in a decent angle, and you can see kind of what kind of range of motion this thing has. I'll be with you guys in just a moment. All right, hopefully you guys can see what I got, what I'm doing over here. Not that you haven't seen anybody tighten up a hydraulic fitting before, but figured I'd bring you along. So yeah, I actually was going to bring you guys along this morning while I was fixing, well, I should say really replacing a fence post. We had a 6x6 fence post for holding up the pasture gate that decided to can out on us, and we because my help was more than helpful, I figured it probably wasn't a good idea to turn the camera on, because well, we'll just say they were really helpful. But anywho, no footage on that, unfortunately. Oops, sorry, I just put my hand in front of the camera, I think. So yeah, I don't know, can you guys see? I'm trying to see if you guys can see kind of what I'm about to point at right here. Yeah, so here you got the levers, right? So if anybody's familiar with snowway plows, you know, you pull these levers out, the pins come out, and you can remove it from the back plate here, just like as if you were removing it from the front of a truck. And I think that's really cool, because this truck mounting bracket that I burned onto this universal plate, it's a really cool, the options that you have, right? So now if I wanted to build like a small jib, right, like a, you know, something that you would use, say, to put you know, to lift trusses and stuff like that, for doing like pole barn projects or anything like that, I can build a jib that mounts to these tabs on this plow frame and just pin it on. and then I can, I can repurpose it for a bunch of different things. I mean, for as many things as I want to build mounting tabs for that line up with this plow frame, anything I could think of, basically, I could attach to this thing. So I thought that was a really cool thing. So just kind of food for thought. Any of you guys that might have a Snowway plow, they're not completely useless. There's a lot of kind of neat things that you can do if you build this, if you utilize all of your parts the right way. You can really really make some neat things. So let's get this thing hooked up to the machine. I'm gonna cycle through, get some, like I said, get the air out of it, get some more fluid pumping through here, see if I got any leaks anywhere else, and we'll talk a little bit more. Some schmutz on there. Make sure I'm paying attention here. I'm going to be putting a bunch of dirt in my hydraulic system. So let's see if these things are going to give me a fit. Okay, that's good. And okay, wow, all right. Well, I thought because the camera was going to be on that it was going to give me a fit. Cool. All right. Well, let's get the machine fired up. Let's cycle this thing and see if we got it. All right. So backward tilt as if I was scooping the bucket. So now let's see what kind of air is in here. This might slam around a little bit here and there, so we'll have to see what happens. Trying to be gentle here. Yeah, definitely air in there. The one thing I do like about using truck snow plows, to mod them to work on skid steers, is some of these skid steer snowplow manufacturers, they make the mold bore so close to the front of the skid steer that you can't see the corner of your plow. You just can't see them. You literally lose the corner of your plow. You wind up snagging things when you're plowing. Because this is out in front of me as far as it is, I can see everything I need to see. I can just turn my head to the left or to the right, kind of look around the A-pillar, and I can see my my marker sticks there on the end of the plow. So that's also another really cool thing when you get to mod your own plow, repurposing a truck plow anyway. Some of the manufacturers have that figured out. They have that figured out pretty well. They understand that having it too close is problematic. Got some of that air in there. Some of that is also from, see the pressure release valve is being overcome by the pressure of the pump in the machine. Which, for the most part, as long as you can prevent yourself from slamming your cylinders one direction or the other, it's really not that big a deal. But when you start getting close to vehicles and people's homes and landscaping and stuff like that, having a plow that randomly throws tantrums is kind of sketchy. That's one thing I do get worried about. So I I usually try to make my adjustments before I even get to what it is that I think might be in danger of my spasmodic plow. So, but yeah, so far so good. Things seem to be slowly working themselves out. There's still a little, looks like it's working itself out. This is what it looks like. I'm not seeing any leaks. That's good. That one that I tightened up seems to be not leaking. That's good. Don't have to worry about none of that nonsense for a while anyway. And yeah, so that's it. So that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to make sure that I wished all of you a very Merry Christmas and upcoming Happy New Year. I was hoping to have a little bit of a better video, a different video, but nothing's lined up. This whole past week, I've gotten home, you know, at basically sundown, pretty much. So I haven't been able to, you know, put together a video throughout the course of the week to show you multiple days of progress of anything. But I want to thank all my new subscribers. Just yesterday, I think I picked up another 8 or 10. Yeah, I think it was like 10 or something like that, new subscribers, which is pretty cool. One of my YouTube shorts of me doing one of the deliveries with the lolly columns, it sat for about a week, didn't get much views. There was really no interest in it. And then all day yesterday, it just kept going up and up and up. I was really surprised. It finally stopped going up in views, which I kind of expected it to get to about a certain number and then stop there. But it was still fun to watch that. And thank you also to a lot of my subscribers that have been with me for a while now. You know, I've had my YouTube account for, you know, since 2011, but I've really only been posting videos for about 2 years. And it's been a slow growth, slow climb, but it's getting somewhere finally. But thank you guys very much for taking the time to watch my content. And thank you from the whole family here at Mount Tammany Ridge. And you guys have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you soon enough.